Hello, this is Denver McMurray. I am the teacher for Physical Science 2, 1417 501. Uh, basically, Physical Science 2. And so, welcome to the course. Glad to have you here. And what I'd like to do is just go through some of the page setup and just how the course basically is set up and what you need to do. Okay, so starting with the home page, which I assume you got to your Canvas course and got to this course. This should be the home page. It should pop up when you get there. All right, this is the online course. All right, a couple things. First of all, there's a bunch. Most of the stuff right here is also underneath a couple of buttons here. Okay, they have put these buttons so everybody's will be the same. So I put the buttons there, but you can also look at most of this just on the page. Course welcome. First of all, gives a little information about me, contact information, email address. I don't have office hours since it's online, but good news is that means I'm available anytime I get an email from you. But obviously, keep in mind it may take me a little while to get back to you. Okay, so it has a little bit about me, and it has a little welcome video, which would be this one right now that I'm making, and you'll click on it, and it will tell you all the stuff about the course. It also has places to click on the syllabus. All right, and you can do that. It's short description. Basically, this half of physical science is a chemistry, geology, meteorology, and astronomy. We'll spend about half the year or the semester on chemistry, and then the rest will be kind of divided between geology, meteorology, and astronomy. All right, so that's that first link. The next link is actually overlaps a little bit. Course syllabus and policies. Okay, once again, still has the link for the intro video and it has for the syllabi. All right, it also has buttons down here that will take you to each of the units or chapters that we do. Okay, we'll have 14 of those. All right, and so we'll talk about those as we get there. We'll talk more about syllabus in just a second. Let's go ahead and go back to the home page and take these first buttons off the thing. Textbooks information. All right, textbook information. There is another video that's going to tell you what I'll just hit the highlights of real quick, but you may go back and look at that. Technically, your textbook is called The Physical Universe, and it's available through Day One Access, which if you go over here, boom, click on it, it should take you to a library and should show you your different books. However, this book is not the book that we originally developed the course with, and it has a lot more math and formulas than this course will have. And so basically, it's not very compatible to it. So if you prefer, you can go to through the Day One library. When it shows your book in the little corner, there will be a section where you say opt out. If you do that within the first 10 or 11 days, I believe, of the course, you should be able to get your money back and refunded for that. And frankly, to be honest, I would recommend that. There, but I can't tell you precisely how to do that because obviously I have not done that, but it is there. Now, what I would recommend, if you would like a textbook, this is the one I originally used to develop the chapters and so forth. I know it's mirrored image there, but it's Conceptual Physical Science Explorations, the second edition by Hewitt, Suchaki, and Hewitt. Okay, second Hewitt, I think, is the daughter of the first Hewitt. But anyhow, it's a second edition. It's technically out of print, but if you go online, you can do a search and you can find a used copy, usually fairly cheap. So you probably come out ahead if you opt out of the other one. But this one is very easy to read, very good support. Now, if you choose not to get it, that's fine. You can get by with the information in the lectures and without a textbook. But if you're having trouble or struggling, or if you're not, if you feel would like to have a book that you can go and read and kind of back up, it is a very good book. It's easy to understand. I like it. It looks a little simplistic, but it really explains things very well. And so if you think that would be helpful for you, I would definitely get one. And like I said, you can usually find them under $30 anyhow, and sometimes cheaper. But anyway, that's the textbook. All right. And there's a little more information for that in the video there. And you can decide what you would like to do with that. Now, the other two are not actually my information sources. These are just general ones that they'll have. They have Roots, which has a lot of different services that they have, admissions, financial aid, all this sort of things. It would find you how to answer a lot of these questions. student resources, library, testing centers, etc. Information about that sort of thing, health and wellness, career, um, like that one, help, I need a job, whatever. Okay, so a lot of those kind of things, and then also student clubs. So it's got a lot of good information. It's a good, quick place to go to find out about those things. Okay. Um, Now, the second one up here, or the last one, I should say, the fifth one, tech help. This is good also, particularly if you have an issue. If you have an issue technology-wise, you can always check with me. It may be that something is wrong on my end, that a link is not functioning like it should. It's just, and I need to fix that, or something like that. Generally, though, if it's a computer problem, a lot of times, other than all I can tell you is unplug it and reboot it and go back again. But there's a help desk, and they're usually pretty good about getting back to you fairly quickly. Um, but right here, the Weatherford College Tech Help Desk, if you click on that, you can put in a ticket and say, here's my problem, and hopefully they'll get back to you in quickly, good time, and help you with that. Okay, and they may have to do that. Sometimes people have trouble with the lab sites, which are on a different live site out of Canvas, or your quiz won't come up or won't open and let you in like it should. And a lot of times there are some compatibility issues, Chromebooks and things like that, and they can help you through that and get that working for you. Okay. There's one for Canvas training for students. There's a lot of different things you can find out there as well. So there's a lot of information there. And if you have questions, that's a good place to look for that sort of information. So all that's good for you and available just from this front page. It should be the front page of any of your courses, but certainly from this one as well. All right, so let's get back to this course specifically. Okay, there's the intro video. Very highly recommend you watch that, which hopefully you are since you're listening to me now. Okay, so there we go. And in the syllabus, this is an online version of it. There's also a printable, either in Word or a PDF here that you can click on. We're just going to go online, look at that one. It'll take you to this page, and it tells you the name of the course and all that good stuff. Notice there are not really office or office hours. It's more get in touch with me. Okay, but if you send me an email, I will try to get back to you relatively quickly. I can't guarantee that I would, within 5 minutes, 5 seconds or 5 minutes, that I'll get right back to you. But I will get back as quick as I can and try to fix that. If you're like in the middle of a quiz and the quiz times out before I get back to you, I will try to help you out, and we will get that reset up and fix whatever the problem was so that you can finish that later. Okay, like I said, the course description is chemistry, geology, meteorology, and astronomy. All right, and it's more conceptual, which means it's not as much formulas. We will talk about formulas and what they mean and how they affect things, but mostly we are going to be talking about more practical applications and understanding the concepts rather than doing a lot of math. Okay, the textbook, like I said, we've already gone through that, so you can go look at that. This is the official textbook, but you may, like I said, may choose to opt out, and you may or may not choose to get the conceptual physical science explorations book. That's your decision. Okay, the course content, basically, we'll get to the modules here in a minute, but there's a lot of videos online, which are basically my lectures. Okay, and that you'll watch. They will cover the material that you will be responsible for. There will also be some demos that if you were in an in-person class, I would try to do those demos for you. So I would do those demos in a video, and I put them on there, and I try to also hit kind of the highlights for that chapter. All right. There will be pivot labs, one lab roughly every week. Not necessarily. There are some weeks there will not be any because it's kind of hard to do a lab, a hands-on lab about the center of the Earth and things like that. So there will not be one every week, but there will be most of the weeks you will have a pivot lab that you'll do online, either one or two, usually two shorter ones if you have two. The important thing about those, there will be a video pre-lab that kind of goes through and explains how to use the video tools and stuff that you'll need to do the lab. Okay, course grading, that's the important thing, right? How do we get a good grade? Well, there will be 4 exams and there will be a final exam. So these 5 grades will count equally, and they will make up 65% of your grade. Okay, so your test average, the 4 regular exams and the final, which is comprehensive and covers everything, will be 65% of your grade. The final exam grade, like I said, is comprehensive, will cover all the units, and you have to take it. If, however, that grade is higher than one of your earlier exam grades, say maybe the first one or second one, you didn't do too hot, weren't quite getting in the swing of things yet. If you do a higher grade on the final exam, you can use that to replace one of your earlier exam grades. Okay, and then 25% of your grade will be based on labs and quizzes for each unit. Okay, and then finally 10% will come from the review questions and other daily work that we do. Okay, so obviously the least effect on your grade will come from those daily review questions or weekly review questions. The highest will be the test, and the labs and quizzes will be in between there. All right. Notes. I have put a outline of the notes, kind of like a heavily redacted version. Some people find that confusing. Some people find it helpful. So if they help you, then by all means use those and kind of fill them in. If they don't help you, just ignore them and take your own notes. Okay. But at any rate, they are there, and so for your use if you find them helpful. All right. Late work, obviously any work that's turned in late will be penalized. Like I said, if it's computer malfunctioning or something like that, then we can sometimes it'll lock you out of a quiz in the middle of it or just quit working. We can try to work around that and do that. But in general, if it's late, then it will be penalized. Please do not send me your assignment by email. Submit it online unless you've maybe sent a thing to me and say, hey, I missed that, but I'd like to turn it in. And it's easier sometimes for me to say, hey, just email it to me. I don't need to reopen it for you or anything like that. Okay, grading criteria. Each exam is worth 100 points. Daily grades will be assigned different amount of points depending on how difficult they are. Basically, your final grades will be, if it's 90 to 100, A, B, 80 to 89, C, 70 to 79, D, 60 to 69. Okay, and once again, 65% of the lecture exams, 25% labs and quizzes, and 10% daily work. All right, now this is a rough schedule, obviously assuming we don't have bad weather or something like that. But each week we have a unit that we cover. I've put the Monday of that week here. When you finish it is up to you. The general schedule for each week is that your questions and labs are due by Saturday night. The quizzes are due by they can open on Saturday and have to be completed by Monday night for each week. Now, every fourth week or so, third or fourth week, we will have an exam, and they can be done Monday through Thursday of that next week. All right. So anyhow, that may be a little confusing right now, but not to worry. These are roughly then Monday to Thursday would be February 10th through the 13th would be your first exam with the first 4 units. The next exam will only be over 3 units, then 4 units again, and then 3 units for the last one. All right. And then, of course, the final will be over all the units and so forth. All right. I think that's pretty straightforward. But if you have any questions, once again, always feel free to let me know. All right. So on the front page, you can always go to modules, which will take you to the information and the worksheets that need to be done. But I've included these links here. If you go to modules, it always takes you to the top of the page. And so sometimes it's easier just to scale here and go down to, say, Unit 12 and click on it rather than scrolling through all the modules, which are a little bit longer. Okay. Other things on the front page. If there's any announcements, they will usually be up here at the front. If there's changes or something I think I need to make you aware of, I will send an announcement up here. On the side over here, you probably won't have all this stuff, but you will have this, things that are coming up. For example, there's an academic integrity policy agreement you have to click saying you won't cheat. There's an online student statement you have to click on. Okay, and there are introductions, which I would like for you to tell me a little bit about yourself. Include a picture or not, up to you, but just tell me a little bit about yourself and why you're taking the class and that sort of thing. All right, those would be due, I believe, like January the 16th. Okay, so make sure you get those done. Anything within, I believe it's a week, they will post up here and tell you about. All right, now coming down here, we said the syllabus. These, like I said, will take you to the modules. All right, let's go ahead and start at the beginning. All right. There's some stuff up here, the course information module. You can click on that and whatever, but uh, most of the information has already been there. That is there has been already given to you on the other page. Um, yeah, course introduction. This is where we start assignments. Okay. Like I said, we have these two agreements, online statements, basically saying you're be honest and do things properly like you should, and the introduction. Just let me know a little bit about you. All right. Unit 1. Unit 1 is a little different than most of our units. It's got some extra uh, list of elements that I think you need to know, a periodic table, because you're going to be using it in chemistry here, and so forth. All right. But there's also a practice quiz here that's just for you can practice learning your elements and their symbols, but it will not be counted as a grade. That's why you notice it says it's for 0 points, and so forth. Okay, there's a worksheet here that you will fill out, but also not for a grade. Most units will be composed more like this. And let me talk about this and then we'll go back. You will have the outline of the note, either as a Word document or PDF, if you want to use that. This one has a blank periodic table, but then you'll have lecture videos. If you click on the lecture videos, there will be anywhere from 3 to 5 videos. They're usually 15 minutes or less. That way, if you get bored you fall asleep, you don't have as far to go scan through to figure out where you fell asleep at. Okay, so anyhow, so there will be some the lectures videos, but there will also be the demos. Okay, these are the demos or experiments. Some of them will have more, some chapters will have less, just depending on what the chapter is. Okay, so that would be the lecture videos. Then you have the questions. Oops, sorry about that. The questions went kind of crazy there. The questions will be due by the Saturday of that week. Okay, and they come in here. Notice, please make your answer stand out by either changing the color of the font or some people just bold them, whatever. But it helps me to grade them if you would just make the font, the answer stand out from the questions. Okay, you can get a Word document and fill it out. Okay, you can, I believe it will give you a text box down here where you can actually type in your answers there if you want to do that. There's also a PDF you can download. Some people print out a copy and then they do it by hand, take a picture of it and send those in. It's up to you, whichever you prefer to do best. But these will usually be due by Saturday of the week. All right, and after the questions, there will be a pivot lab, all right, and there will be a quiz, all right. So that kind of finishes up that. Now, a lot of this stuff, you notice a lot of these don't say any due dates or anything. That means that they're not for a grade, but they are there for you to do and to learn from. All right, but let's go back and look at some other things then real quick. So each one will have a pivot lab, all right. If you click on the pivot lab, it should take you to this page, all right. And there will be a lab preview. If you click on this, it will open up a video, and the video will kind of go over what you need to know, how to use the video lab. Some of them are pretty straightforward. Some of them you may not know how to do. So just a little preview. Please watch those. I did have several people last semester that said, oh, I tried to do it without that. It's like, well, and then they sent me an email with a bunch of questions about it. It's like, well, watch the video first. Okay, if you're not sure, then by all means, certainly get in touch with me. Okay, so there's lab preview. Then here, if you click on this, it will actually take you to the lab itself. Okay, and it'll go to a different web page, Pivot Interactives. Now, for you, it will take you to the actual lab, and you can start working on it. For me, it takes it to this where I grade all your labs. Okay, but that's all it will take, and it should get you to the lab. If it doesn't, once again, especially the first week or so, if there's a glitch, you let me know and I will try to help you. If not, then it may be something for the tech people to help you with, and you have to leave a ticket for the tech. Wouldn't leave the pivot lab till Saturday night if I were you, because that way if there's any issues, you have time to get fixed or get on top of it. All right. So that's the pivot labs, and there will be a pivot lab each week pretty much. All right, and then like I said, there will be a quiz for each one. All right, chapter 2, same kind of thing. You see as they get down here, they tend to start thinning out where they don't have all the extra things as much. Okay. All right, Now, you will have, no, never mind, you will not have, forget that. Okay. Um, all right, I'll go back to our home page. A couple more things we need to talk about still. All right. Um, there will be at the very end of toward the end of the semester, I will have an extra credit assignment where I will have a long article or chapter of a book that you can summarize and turn that in. But we'll worry about that as we get closer to the end. A couple things. The questions that are due each week, they are all open at the very beginning of the class. So if you work ahead, you can. Some people do, most people don't. But um, anyhow, they are available when you get there. Labs, I will try to make them open a week or 2 weeks before they're due, but they're not. They won't all be open until you get closer to them. Okay. The last button on the front page is the exam study materials. All right. And what this is, obviously, you click here when you're to take the exam. It'll just take you to the module where it says exam number 1. Okay, and that's fine. You can do that. But the study materials, if you click on that, all right, on Sunday morning, I will, if they were on chapter 1, I will post the answer to the review questions. The review questions are due Saturday at midnight. Okay, and so the next day, I will post the answers, and if there are any worksheets that went along with that chapter, I will post those as well. Okay, and this way you can check your answers, make sure you understood things like that. I highly recommend that you take the time to go and check your answers against the answers that are posted. Okay, and then that way, if you have any questions, and you can get in touch with me, and I can let you know about it. Now, notice the questions are due on Saturday night. The answers aren't posted until Sunday morning. But you can start taking your quiz on Saturday if you would like. If you feel like you know that you knew the answers, you understand that you got a good grasp of them, then you can just go ahead and take it on Saturday. If you are not sure about things, I would recommend then you wait till Sunday and check your answers against them, see if you have any questions, and then decide if you're ready to take the test or not. Okay, or if you have some questions you'd like to ask me before that. Okay, so that's just kind of how that works. All right, the questions are due on Saturday night, midnight. Sunday, I will post the answers, but obviously, if you feel like you're in good shape, you can go ahead and take the quiz, which opens up on Wednesday for that week. All right. And like I said, they will be highlighted here when they are done. And they'll always be here where you can go back to them and look at them or check them out. All right. I think that's about it. Just go back to an exam real quick. The quizzes will usually be about anywhere from 12 to 18 questions. Okay, just depends. Some are shorter, some are longer. The exams will be usually somewhere between 50 to 70 questions. Okay, about 14, 15 questions off each one, although some may have more on one chapter and less on another chapter. That's just kind of how that works. Okay, so I would recommend it. I believe the quizzes are just going to let you see how you did and which ones you got right, which ones you got wrong at the end of that test. And so, but you can't go back and look at them again. So if you missed one, when you complete the quiz, that's the time to check them, check any questions. All right. And so make sure you check those questions and see if you have any questions about those before you get out of it, because once you get out of it, then it won't let you go back and never look at them again. All right. So if you have questions about a question, kind of write it down, maybe what question it was, and then you can send me an email and say, hey, on question whatever, I had a question about this. And I can explain why it was right, why it was wrong, and who knows, maybe there's a mistake. Sometimes some weird things happen when you upload new courses, and sometimes the key is off for some reason. And so it's happened before, so it may happen again. So anyhow, having said all that, hopefully this has been helpful, and this will kind of give you an idea of what to expect for the course, and look forward to having a good school year, and let's enjoy it.